Calling the HHS AEN hearing for 1 p.m. calendar. Present with me is Chair Mike Gabbard, members Senator Rhodes, Senator Shimabukuro. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Wednesday, March 27 at 1 p.m. in room 225. For those on Zoom, your audio will be muted, video disabled until shortly before it's your turn to testify. Each testifier will have 1 minute to testify. If there's a technical glitch during your time to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. I will be reading a list of individuals who submitted written testimony for each measure. We apologize if the closed caption does not accurately transcribe the names. If you're interested in reviewing the written testimony, please go to the legislature's website. You'll find the link on the status page for the measure. We appreciate your understanding and remind you that the committee does have your testimony, that I reviewed them, so I encourage you to use your time to either add additional comments or you can stand on your written testimony. First up, we have SCR 74 requesting Department of Health to conduct a study of the methods used in other states to monitor air pollutants emitted by waste incineration facilities. First up, we have Department of Health and Support on Zoom. Department of Health.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. My name is Marianne Rossio from the Department of Health. The department stands on its written testimony and support, and we're here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Environmental Caucus of the Department of the Democratic Party of Hawaii and Support. Melody Aduha, are you present? Please proceed.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much, Chairs San Buenaventura, Chairs Gabbard, as well as Vice Chairs Richards and Aquino, and members of the committee. My name is Melody Aduha. I represent the Environmental Caucus of the Democratic Party, and we have over 7,500 members, active members in this area. And we are in support of this measure. As you may know, based on the testimony, there are 20 known pollutants that the waste incineration facilities emit. Unfortunately, we are only monitoring 4 continuously. I feel that a continuous 22 known pollutants would be very important for human health as well as the environment, especially since some of them are not monitored at all, such as PFAS, such as arsenic, nickel, selenium, and zinc, among others. So I believe that it is very important that we do monitor all of these, and a study by the department.
Thank you, Melody. Next up, we have Mike Ewell, Energy Justice Network in Support. Please proceed. I see you on Zoom, Mike.
Hello, Chair and Vice Chair and committee members. My name is Mike Ewell with Energy Justice Network, and I've been working with Melody's organization and also the Clean Power Task Force in Kekuana Aina for the past couple of years on these related matters. And I would encourage support for this resolution, but also, as my comments point out, there are some specific language edits that we're recommending. One, to make one of the whereases more technically accurate, but more importantly, the parts that get into exactly what needs to be studied in more detail, including the cost of implementing it, the specific experiences in other states where they actually have had continuous monitors used as well as annual stack tests, and you can look at those numbers and see why we need these, because some of them show that the continuous monitoring demonstrates much higher emissions levels. And there's one other recommendation in there that we encourage as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Angela Melody Young in Support. Angela, I see you here.
Aloha committees, Angela Melody Young testifying in strong support of the pollution from the incineration facilities. The toxic pollution of the facilities is hazardous to health and it causes injury. And so the focus of the study group should be to research about the environmental standards of the incineration facilities, which is set by the federal government. And so how is trash managed at the city, state, and federal level? The city operates enormous amounts of trash. The trash gets incinerated where radiant heat burns and combusts trash in the incineration facility process. The State Land Use Commission permits a special permit for the city trash site, Waimea Gulch, which is set to close forever soon. The federal government creates environmental standards for the facility's processes, right? So you can
Okay,
see that
thank
there's
you,
this
Angela.
collaboration. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Next up, we have, also present is my vice chairs, Senator Aquino and Senator Keohokolole. Next up, we have Convanta providing comments.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair. My name is Fraser Blaylock. I work for Covanta Energy. For years, we have operated the H-Power facility for the city and county of Honolulu. We're very proud of our operating history there. We operate well below the city and state standards that are set for us for our emissions. We operate in numerous states around the country, and we would be glad to help the Department of Health with looking into whatever it needs to in other states where we operate, if that's helpful, to try and save them some money from having to do, an independent study, which I understand might be expensive for them. So we'd just like to be a resource for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, no one else having registered to testify. We have Jacqueline Ambrose in support, Charlie Ice in support, Sherry Pollock in support, John Kawamoto in support. Anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 74? Angela, you already had your 1 minute and your written testimony. No.
Chair, we have John Kawamoto online.
Okay, John, please proceed.
Oh, thank you. I support the resolution because emission facilities emit, many different pollutants and tons of pollutants in the air. And Hawaii's people should be assured that the air they breathe is safe. Thank you for allowing me to testify.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 74 on Zoom? Anybody on person? Members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, and we have Senator DeCoit also joining us. Next up, we have SCR 76, requesting the Director of Health and Chief Energy Officer to continuously monitor air pollutants emitted by waste incineration facilities. First up, we have Department of Health providing comments on Zoom. Please proceed.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. My name is Marianne Rossio from the Department of Health. Department stands on its written testimony, offering comments, and we're here for questions. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Hawaii State Energy Office providing comments.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, chairs, vice chairs, members of the committees. Monique Schaefer, Hawaii State Energy Office. We stand on our written testimony providing comments. To summarize, this is not really our area of expertise. We use the monitoring to inform policy, but we do request and defer to the Department of Health to actually do the monitoring. Available for questions, Mahalo.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Mike Ewell in support, Energy Justice Network. Mike, please proceed.
Thank you. I support this resolution, but we urge that it be conformed to the similar resolution that is recently passed in the House. The intent behind this resolution was never to make an unfunded mandate on the Department of Health to have to do the testing themselves, but to just endorse the idea of it and encourage the study of it, as the previous resolution discussed. So we're not trying to put anything on the Department of Health that really should be a cost borne by the facilities themselves, as legislation that has passed both environmental committees and this committee before would have done. So that's the crux of our support for this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Melody Oduha, Environmental Caucus of the Democratic Party of Hawaii in support. Please proceed, Melody.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Melody Aduha. I represent the Environmental Caucus of the Democratic Party of Hawaii, and we strongly support this measure. We would like to have the Department of Health and the State Energy Office to continuously monitor air pollution from incinerators, especially when it comes to dioxins and furans, which are the most toxic chemicals known to science. And as previously mentioned, there is no testing for PFAS, arsenic, nickel, selenium, and zinc, which are very important to be tested because they are very damaging to human health as well as the environment. Please adopt this resolution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Covanta in opposition. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair and Vice Chair. Fraser Blaylock with Covanta Energy again. The regulations that the Covanta H-Power Waste-to-Energy facility is required to abide by are set by the EPA and the Department of Health. We are very proud of our record of compliance under these guidelines and would find that a resolution that requires continuous monitoring of just a blanket pollutants emitted by waste to energy would be quite an unfunded mandate. And I think I would defer to the Department of Health as to what they decide is the appropriate implementation of EPA standards, as well as there are some MACT standards coming down from the EPA, new municipal waste combustor requirements. So I think that we are highly regulated, well-regulated, and I don't see a necessity for this resolution. So we oppose.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have no one else having registered to testify. We have Jacqueline Ambrose in support, Sherry Pollock in support. I'm sorry, you did register to testify. Angela Melody Young, come on up, please proceed.
Angela Melody Young cares in strong support of the resolution. So the resolution requests the Director of Health to monitor pollution caused by incineration facilities. From the United States National Ambient Air Quality Standards, particulate matter is one of the 6 pollutants in a group of pollutants that endangers public health. So the pollution caused by the facility has to be measured. Okay, and I'm gonna refer to an example from Australia, which is called the Watch app from the EPA from Australia, and it tracks the pollutions such as particulate matter 2.5 and PM10 in real time, where it constantly tracks the pollution data to upload to a national platform. And with the new upgraded EPA Watch from Australia improves the ability to prevent harm to human health caused by environmental pollution, such as that from facilities of incineration. And so the United States has also a quality monitor app. It's not as advanced as the tracking
Thank you, Angela.
monitor from Australia.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 76? Members, any questions? Okay, Senator Gabbard, please come on
For
up.
Covanta, for Ms. Blaylock.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Blaylock, in the resolution, it stated that the Covanta Delaware Valley Waste Incinerator in Chester, Pennsylvania, where annual monitoring was replaced with continuous monitoring, which found that hydrochloric acid emissions were 62% higher than what annual monitoring showed. Would you like to respond to that? And why
Well,
we can't have that here? Is it just a funding issue? Is that what it is? Or-
No, it's not a funding issue. I would like to be able to respond to the accuracy of those numbers, but given in the time when I saw that statement about the Delaware Valley facility, which we do operate, I would like to be able to get back to you on that.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
And I'll distribute it to the committee. Thank you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to, okay, Senator Decoit.
DOH.
Please just,
Department of Health.
they're on Zoom.
Oh, thank you. Do you concur that the air pollutants emitted by waste incineration facilities should be continuously monitored?
Well, as we had mentioned in our testimony, we have, we want to ensure that what we monitor, we have quality data so that we can use that appropriately for evaluating impacts of public health. And for that, we do need approved EPA methodologies, we need performance specs that ensure the quality, and we need appropriate emission limits. And we found from our research that, large majority of these pollutants do not have that right now. So, we feel like, as we had talked about in SCR 74 that we just were discussing, that we we'll be doing a study and research, contacting other states and seeing what they use, and to help evaluate, what is optimal for Hawaii to monitor. But again, we want to share whatever we monitor, we're able to have quality data.
So yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other senators, questions? Okay, moving on. SCR 77, SR 64, urging Department of Health to ensure the safe management of ash from waste incineration facilities. So first up for SCR 77, we have Department of Health on Zoom in opposition.
Good afternoon, chairs, vice chairs, members of the committee. Lene Ichinotsubo with the Department of Health Solid and Hazardous Waste Branch. The department stands on its testimony in opposition. Our written testimony provides clarification and justification for the position. I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Environmental Caucus of the Democratic Party of Hawaii in support. Melody, please proceed.
Thank you very much. Thank you, chairs, vice chairs, and members of the committee. Fly ash is a hazardous waste in other nations, and as EPA has indicated that 90% of the time, it is also determined to be hazardous due to the leaching of lead and cadmium. Therefore, we don't want to see this hazardous waste or this fly ash used as recycling in any manner. And that's why we are in support of the safe management of this incinerator ash. As indicated in our testimony, it's 100 tons of trash equals 30 tons of ash. So that's still a substantial amount of ash that is into the landfill, which is Waimanalo Gulch landfill, in which it is not being contained as it should as hazardous waste, but instead it's being used as cover, and cover should not be of fly ash because of all of its
Okay, thank you, Melody. Next, we have, I see Mike Ewell, Energy Justice Network in support. Please proceed, Mike.
Well, hello. Support on this bill because ash is very fine. It has a high surface area compared to trash. If you think about coffee, for example, coffee beans, you pour water over it, you won't get coffee, right? But if you grind it up, increase the surface area, now you can get coffee. It's the same principle with ash versus trash. Ash, because it has a higher surface area, means more things can leach out of it as water comes in contact with it. And it contains chemicals that were not in the original trash. Chemicals like dioxins that were created in the combustion process end up in the ash. And workers can get exposed to this. Building roads out of it means that we're turning roadways into linear, unlined landfills that won't be protecting the groundwater or communities living next to those roads, where the road eventually will erode and no pieces will come off, and there are no labels saying I'm a mercury molecule or dioxin molecule, don't breathe me in or touch me. But workers will be exposed to this and others in the course of driving over it and broken up. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Covanta in opposition.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair. This resolution would make the reuse of waste to energy ash as being proposed by the city and county of Honolulu and Covanta would make it illegal, apparently. This is a problem for the city and county and the island of Oahu because we have a limited amount of space for waste to be disposed of. The ash is currently going to Waimanalo Gulch landfill, which is set to close in 2028. There is no other location cited, designated for another ash landfill. This would allow the city and county to make a good use out of the material from the ash that is safe and would be an excellent substitute for sand and aggregate that we import from the mainland. So this is an attempt to be sustainable. This is an attempt to not landfill.
Thank you.
I couldn't see the clock, so thank you.
It's okay, that's why I'm telling you, thank you. Okay, no one else having registered, those who have provided written testimony is County of Honolulu, Department of Environmental Services in opposition. Jacqueline Ambrose in support. Sherry Pollock in support. Anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 77, SR 64? Okay, Angela, please proceed.
Angela Melody Young testifying in strong support. So page 2, line 39 to 41, recycling ash is in violation of a state law, yet nowhere in the resolution is the HRS chapter referred to. So just a concern that maybe there should be something referred to in the chapter of the violation of the state law. And then also about ash, so if there's excess ash that is derived from the incineration process, this is because, and I think it's my interpretation, that there is a flaw in the design of the facility. Why? I will explain this, and you should read the resources that I testified about with links. Because modern incinerators produce dioxins and furans from 3 points in the process: stick gas, emissions, bottom ash, and fly ash. And dioxins and furans are the most hazardous organic products of incomplete combustion. So during the process of the combustion incineration, ash is produced. If the facility's design is flawed, it is producing very dangerous levels of pollution. So I would refer to the environmental impact statement from the incineration site designs, EPA.
Thank you, Melody. Okay. The only other person having provided written testimony is B.A. McClintock in support. Members, any questions? Okay,
I have a question
Senator Gabbard, please
For
proceed.
Mike Ewell online. Mike, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Mike. The question is, do EPA's regulations on incinerator ash, do they look at inhalation or ingestion pathways of exposure?
No, they do not. I've actually met with EPA's Office of Land and Emergency Management staff in the past couple of years and discussed this very question. And they admitted to us that the regulations are not based on contact with the ash, on ingesting something that can, like particles that can be blowing off of trucks, blowing off the landfills, or blowing off of the roads that they make with the stuff. That the non-hazardous or hazardous test that they use is solely based on what leaches out of the ash, not of the ash itself, but of the liquids that come through the ash in a short-term laboratory test under certain pH conditions that were designed to be done at a pH where lead and cadmium don't leach out. Even though we get more acid, more basic, it leaches out. It used to be testing hazardous years ago before they changed the test, but they designed it so it comes up non-hazardous. And agencies like Department of Health and companies like Covanta like to misinterpret that non-hazardous legal definition to mean that it's non-toxic or inert, which is not the case.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Senator DeCoy, please proceed.
Department of Health?
Yes.
So how big of a problem is the current transport of incinerator ash to the landfill?
So right now, the distance between H Power, which is in Campbell Industrial Park, and Waimanalo Gulch is relatively short. There is state law when you transport on highways that the loads need to be covered, secured and covered. And so that, I believe, is under Hawaii Revised Statutes 291C, Section 131. So there is requirements for covering.
Okay, and then just a follow-up, is the ash recycling illegal under current law or is it exempted?
We're not aware of any statute, including the reference Hawaii Revised Statute 342H, Section 30, that prohibits it. In fact, under Hawaii Revised Statutes 342G, Section 2, there is a priority that's being placed on source reduction, recycling and bioconversion prior to landfilling incineration. So the state and the county is required to consider recycling over landfilling and incineration as a waste management option.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Okay, anybody else wishing to ask questions? Okay, seeing none, moving on. Next up, we have SCR 128 SR 110, requesting Department of Health to establish a per and polyfluoroalkyl substances testing grant program in collaboration with the University of Hawaii. Okay, first up, we have for SCR 128, Department of Health providing comments. Okay, next up, we have Melody Aduha, Environmental Caucus of the Democratic Party of Hawaii in support. Please proceed.
Yes, thank you very much. This resolution is very important because it allows for a PFAS task program. This information is necessary for data collection for future regulatory efforts by the Department of Health. It's also important when it's used for risk assessment. We need to know what kind of impacts the PFAS has on human health and the environment. And it's also important for community support, where it will assist local communities, businesses, and residents to obtain these testing services, and especially for biological sampling. And this type of sampling can be done for water, solids, dust crops, food, packaging, consumer products, and other substances. It's important, especially for us, when it comes to fish. Fish has a lot of PFAS because of the bioaccumulation nature of PFAS. Therefore, it's very important that we know how much PFAS are in the fish that we consume. And this will be very helpful in making that determination. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have, no one else having registered to testify. We have Jacqueline Ambrose in support, Lisa Bishop in support. Anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 128, SR 110?
Good afternoon, Ted Boland on behalf of the Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition in strong support of this resolution. We have seen recent studies of PFAS impacts on health that are very disturbing. At very, very low levels, parts per trillion, PFAS can affect human health in very serious ways. We need to know where the PFAS is in Hawaii in order to protect the human health, and also, as the last speaker mentioned, the accumulation in fish. So this is an important testing program that we need. So please pass this resolution. I'm available for questions. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions? Okay, come on up. You're going to come to testify on SCR 128, SR 110.
Thank you. Angela Melody Young cares in strong support. So aside from environmental pollution that destroys life, animals, and the earth, the toxic pollution from PFAS damages human health and can cause cancer-causing agents. This should be a concern of policy because it relates to healthcare costs. PFAS can cause cancer, thyroid disease, kidney dysfunction, birth defects, and other major medical conditions, as listed on the EPA's website. The University of Hawaii grant program should focus on PFAS and blood tests for public health concerns. Community blood testing can enable public health officials to investigate and respond to public health concerns. And the National Kidney Foundation, I will refer to this as an example, was one of the first foundations to implement a blood test by law. The National Kidney Foundation worked with diagnostic labs to propose a law to require a test level on the blood test to read and detect kidney failure or the presence of kidney illness. And the doctors and the clinics could not figure this out. It was the kidney specialists who figured this out. And from the National Institute of Health, a federal resource. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 128, SR 110? Members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, moving on. SCR 130, urging the Department of Health to take all action necessary to require wastewater treatment plant to test sewage, sludge, and any other residual materials for the presence of PFAS substances. First up on SCR 130, we have Department of Health providing comments. We have Melody Adu, I see you on Zoom. Please proceed for Environmental Caucus, Democratic Party of Hawaii.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, this is a very important resolution and hope that you will support it and adopt it. We feel very strongly about it, especially when it comes to this wastewater treatment plants. Case on point is the Schofield treatment facility, wastewater treatment facility, which is now being operated by Aqua Engineers. 100% of its reclaimed water goes to sell to the area farms, agricultural farms at less than market value. And if they don't test for PFAS, that means that the PFAS is then going into the soil, can leach into the groundwater. It's also going into the plants when used for irrigation. And when we consume those products, those fruits and vegetables, we also get the PFAS in our bodies. So this is very important. Aqua engineers, they do filter out a lot of chemicals. Unfortunately, PFAS is not one of them. And so the Department of Health should therefore regulate this as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Jacqueline Ambrose, and providing written testimony in support. Anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 130, SR 112? Ted, please identify yourself and proceed.
Thank you, chairs, vice chairs, members of the committees. Ted Boland on behalf of the Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition. I used to be the Deputy Attorney General representing the Department of Health on water matters, and so I dealt with all these sewage issues. It is very important that we reuse wastewater where we can, but it's also very important that we not be spreading PFAS across the land, with especially with pellets of sludge or even with wastewater. I want to be able to reuse wastewater, but I want to know that it's safe. And so testing is very important to determine where there is PFAS in a problem level. So thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I'm testifying in strong support of this resolution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Also providing written testimony is Lisa Bishop in support. Anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 130, SR 112? Okay, members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, moving on. Next up, SCR 170, SR 146, urging Department of Health to investigate and implement policies to reduce the importation of products, packaging, or materials containing PFAS into the state. First up, we have Department of Health providing comments.
Good afternoon, Chair San Bonaventura, Chair Gabbard, Vice Chair Aquino, and members of the committees. My name is Michael Burke. I'm with the Hawaii State Department of Health Food and Drug Branch. We submitted written comments and stand on our written testimony. I am available for any questions, should you have any. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Melody Aduha for Environmental Caucus and Democratic Party for Hawaii in support. Melody, are you present?
Yes, I am, but for some reason I'm not able to get my video. Okay, there we go. I've got permission now. Okay, yes, please support this one. It is very, we strongly support it because it's important that the DOH provides some policies on how to reduce PFAS in packaging and products. And to do that, it'll human health. As PFAS, it causes disruptions to our immunotoxicity, thyroid and kidney disorders, as well as cancer. This is important also because of the environmental impact. As mentioned before, it's very persistent and it accumulates in our soil and water. And currently, the federal government is having a very fast sweep in trying to get PFAS clean remediation. And of course, if we could get these policies to reduce the importation of PFAS in packaging, then it will reduce it will cause more of a safeguard to human health and the environment. Please support this resolution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, we have Jacqueline Ambrose in support, Lisa Bishop in support, testifying for American Chemistry Council providing comments. Anybody else wishing to testify on SCR 170, SR 146, and DA McClintock in support? Okay, members, any questions? Okay, moving on. SCR 222, requesting the Department of Health to carry out widespread soil testing in Lahaina and to develop a soil remediation plan. First up, Department of Health providing comments.
Good afternoon, chairs and members of the committee. My name is Grace Simmons from the Department of Health. We stand on our written testimony providing comments. I also want to state that the department has already entered into a contract to have a comprehensive environmental monitoring and sampling plan for Lahaina. Thank you, and I'm available for questions.
Oh, thank you. Next up, we have Melody Aduha, Environmental Caucus, Democratic Party of Hawaii in support. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, chairs. Yeah, this is very important that we do have widespread soil testing in Lahaina because of the wildfires that happened on August 8, 2023. We've got burned building materials, furniture, plastics, and consumer electronics. This is very important because it will affect our human health. When you have soil contamination, which contains lead, arsenic, and other toxins, and this is important for the agricultural impact that we want to make sure that the composition of the soil and the fertility and the health of the soil is good for farming to start again, and especially for rebuilding of homes in this area. So it is very important that we go ahead and request that the Department of Health work on some sort of remediation planning and work towards a restoration, and that can separate the soil, clean soil from ash and toxins. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up, we have Jacqueline Ambrose in support, and Lisa Bishop providing written testimony in support. No one else having registered to testify. SCR 222 or SR 198 members. Anyone else wishing to testify? Members, any questions? Are we ready for decision making or do we need a recess? Okay.
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, first up, for SCR 74, Chair's recommendation is to pass with Department of Health amendments and tech amendments suggested by SMA. Any comments, questions, concerns? Pass with amendments. Vice Chair for the vote for HHS, Chair votes aye.
Okay, SCR 74, recommendation of the chairs to pass with amendments. Okay, Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Senator Keokolole. Aye. Senator Shirokuro.
Aye.
Senator Owa is excused. Recommendation is adopted.
Same recommendation for AEN. Any discussion? Senator Rose, if you take the vote, chair votes aye.
Chair's recommendation on SCR 74 is to pass with amendments. Chair Gabbard votes aye. Vice Chair is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh is excused. Motion is adopted.
Thank you, member.
Okay, for SCR 76, SR 63, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. We are going to insert HCR 153 where it's different from SCR 76, and also add in a resolution requesting the Department of Health to seek fees from users of the waste facility to fund such website. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote, Chair votes aye.
Okay, thank you very much. 4 members are present. Any reservations? Any noes? Recommendation is adopted, Chair.
Okay.
Same recommendation for AEN. Any questions, concerns? Chair votes aye. Senator Rose.
Chair's recommendation on SCR 76 and SR 63 is to pass with amendment. Chair Gabbard votes aye. Vice Chair is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh is excused. Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members.
Okay, SCR 77, SR 64. Chair's recommendation is to defer this and await an EPA determination of recycling referred to by the City and County of Honolulu. So next up, we have SCR 178 and SR 110. Chair-
170.
Excuse me.
The 2 looks like this.
SCR 128?
Yes.
Okay, SCR 128, SR 110. Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments but add in a resolution requesting Department of Health to seek federal or grant funding pursuant to this resolution. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, 4 members are present. Any reservations? Any noes? Recommendation is adopted, Chair.
Same recommendation for AEN. Any concerns? Chair votes aye. Senator Rose.
Chair's recommendation on SCR 128 and SR 110 is to pass with amendments. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Vice Chair is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh is excused. Recommendation adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. So for SCR 130, SR 112, Chair's recommendation is to pass only with tech amendments for clarity and consistency. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, 4 members are present. Any reservations? Any noes? Recommendation is adopted.
Same recommendation for AEN. Senator Rose.
Chair's recommendation SCR 130 and SR 112 is to pass with amendments. Senator Gabbard.
Aye.
Senator Richards is excused. Senator DeCoite.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh is excused. Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you very much. So for SCR 170, SR 146, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. We are going to add in a resolution urging Department of Health to pursue funding for such investigation. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, 4 members are present. Any reservations? Any noes? Recommendation is adopted.
Same recommendation for AEN. Any comments, concerns? Chair votes aye. Senator Rose.
Chair's recommendation SCR 170 and SR 146 is to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair is excused. Senator DeCoite.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh is excused. Recommendations are adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. So for SCR 222, SR 198, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. We're going to add in a resolution requesting Department of Health to pursue the funding necessary for the comprehensive soil remediation plan. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, 4 members are present. Any reservations? Any noes? Recommendation is adopted, Chair.
Same recommendation for AEN. Any concerns? Chair votes aye. Senator Rose.
Chair's recommendation SCR 222 and SR 198 is to pass with amendments. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Senator Richards is excused. Senator DeCoite.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh is excused. Recommendations are adopted.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Hello, Makako, and good afternoon. Welcome to today's AEN hearing. It's Monday, March 25th, and we're here in room 224. This is for the 101 agenda. And in case there's any catastrophic screw-ups, or we will reconvene the meeting on the hearing on March 27th, Wednesday at 101 here in this room in 224. And because of our 90-minute time limit, we will be limiting our testimony to 1 minute time limits for all testifiers. So we shall begin with SCR 29 and SR 19, urging the Department of Agriculture to support efforts to improve the Aquaculture Development Program Strategic Plan. First up, Department of Ag.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, the Department of Agriculture stands on its written testimony in support.
Thank you. Sharon? Yes. Next up is Annette Cruz from Malama Makua, also in support, as are in support Glenn Kagamita, Jacqueline Ambrose, Kimberly Haupu, Yvonne Yoro, James Rodriguez. Oh, excuse me. Anyone else wishing to testify on SCR 29? Members, are there any questions? Oh, please.
Aloha, Angela Melody Young, testifying on behalf of the resolution for the DOA strategic plan. So this is supposed to improve aquaculture development from a strategic plan from DOA. So why is aquaculture something we should care about, right? Natural resources are not finite and we can deplete it. Once it's depleted, we can't get the harvest from it. And I will refer to the State Agricultural Functional Plan, which was supposed to get upgrades from the content of the plan for seafood sustainability. And it's supposed to be a collaboration with the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development and DOA. And the request to study seafood sustainability is related to aquaculture is because there has to be species management and sustainable fisheries, right? For food supply and to maintain healthy fish, and so that there can be harvest to the people and provide subsistence for the community. So yeah, we should care about it. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Actually, I missed some who had signed up to testify on SR 19, Paul Ayo, Luann Mahiki Langford Favorito, Dennis Suzuki, and Yvonne Yoro, also all in support. Anyone else wishing to testify? If not, members, any questions?
One question.
Senator DeCoy.
DOA, please, Sharon. Hi, good afternoon. So the resolution urges DOA to move forward to implement the aquaculture strategic plan. What first steps do you plan to take to implement the recommendations in the plan?
I believe it's to meet more and more with the community, the commodity groups, the Hawaii Agriculture Association, and see what they have. How do they feel about the plan that's posted on our website? Restorative aquaculture, and that would be a first step.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to SCR 67 and SR 55, urging the legislature to preserve, protect, and restore limu kala. First up is Charlie Taylor with DLNR.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, Committee. My name is Luna Kikwa. I'm here on behalf of the Department of Natural Resources. I stand on our testimony and available for any questions.
Thank you. Jacqueline Ambrose, support. Demomi Khan, support. Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? Members, any questions? Senator DeCoy.
DOA, please. Sharon.
Sorry.
You're very popular today.
I guess so. Senator.
So because we looked at the first reso and that was the strategic plan, how will DOA support its efforts to preserve, protect, and restore limu kala as part of its aquaculture efforts?
Actually, limu is a pretty big part of our restorative aquaculture program. It's not only a food, it's a biofuel. It's what we're, actually right now, Senator, we have an earmark in with Senator Hirono, I believe it is. Hope that's right. Actually, all four of them, all four of the CODEL, to do a feasibility study on each island to determine what best location to set up a aquaculture park. But each park would have a specific project that would be right for its location. And I think most of them have limu in mind.
So part of that, I guess, so DLNR also works with the CBSFAs. And a lot of them in areas like Paipahia already do stuff with limu. How can you complement or work with them to move this? Because some of them already have feasibility studies, have setups. How can you utilize what they've done already to move it forward faster?
It's a good question, and I think what we can provide is the regulatory piece, the laboratory testing piece, the disease piece, you might say. We have the subject matter experts to identify this type of discipline, and maybe not so much the raising part of it, as you say, but the supportive regulatory piece.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Okay, moving on to the last measure on today's agenda, SCR 101 and SR 83, urging a transition to a plant-based lifestyle. And first up is Lorraine Sakaguchi from the Vegan Society of Hawaii.
Aloha, I'm Lorraine Sakaguchi, the president of the Vegan Society of Hawaii. We've been around since 1990. We're an all-volunteer nonprofit education organization. We're really active on Oahu, Maui, and Kauai. And we're here today, I'm here in support today, representing us to greatly support this resolution. Because we are now already suffering the really horrendous deleterious effects of disastrous effects of climate change, increasing chronic diet-driven conditions, health conditions such as cancer and diabetes and so on. And adopting each person, no matter what they're doing in their everyday lives, without doing anything further, can most effectively help all of these by simply adopting a whole food, plant-based diet. And it's not something that
Your
they
time
need.
is up, Lorraine.
Thank
very
you so much.
Got your testimony. Thank you. Next is Ted Boland from High Rock.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee, Ted Boland on behalf of the Hawaii Reef and Ocean Coalition, but also the Climate Protectors Hawaii, because this is a measure, a reso, that could do a lot for the climate. We know that a plant-based diet produces a lot less greenhouse gases than meat and dairy, and so that's one way to help the climate. It's also very good for human health, by the way, and uses less water. But I wanted to address a point that not too many people know, which is we have an opportunity to do green jobs in Hawaii by having building materials made out of plants. We currently use timber, which eliminates sequestration of wood. We have cements and we have steel, all of which are carbon intensive. If we use plant-based materials such as clumping bamboo and hempcrete and cyanobacteria, we could save a lot in greenhouse gases. And so this is a really good way to move, and I urge the committee to adopt this resolution. To transition, it's all we're doing, talking about a transition, not mandating anything, but just try to move in that direction. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Ted. Department of Ag.
Good afternoon again, Chair, members of the committee. Sharon Hurd, Department of Agriculture. The department stands on its submitted testimony, but wants to point out that we have supportive comments for the plant-based construction materials. As an import replacement, anything you replace as an import, you cut the pathway for invasives. But we also further comment that we support also the plant-based and animal-based diet. We understand that the plant-based proteins movement is big, but we do say that respectfully, the department comments that personal choice should direct everyone's lifestyle with regards to food. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Sharon. Next is John Kawamoto. John online?
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Okay, in support. And the following are also in support. Ron Riley from Citizens Climate Lobby, Janine Mariano from Hawaii Food and Plus Policy, Paul Bernstein from HECA's Building Decarbonization Task Force, Nicole Galassi submits comments. Helen Cox is in support. Susan Roberts Emery from the Green Party of Hawaii in support. Allison Riggs from Down to Earth Organic Natural in support. And then all the rest are in support as well. Jacqueline Ambrose, Stephen Beidner, Susan Hall, Catherine Scow, Stephanie Scow, Matt Nelson, Victoria Anderson, Sherry Pollock, Kensho Gurung, Pete Tibbs, Paul Bernstein, Helen Cox, John Kawamoto, is he back with us on Zoom?
Still not present on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. Keith Neal, Ruth Heydrich, Victoria Anderson, Pete Tibbs, and Sherry Pollock again on the other reso. So that's all the testifiers. Any questions, members? Oh, please.
Aloha, Angela Melody Young testifying in strong support. So from a Harvard Health study, plant nutrition is supposed to be healthier. This includes not only fruits and vegetables, but also nuts, seeds, oils, and beans. And the nutrition from plants can enhance your energy. So what is the evidence that plant nutrition is healthy? Much nutrition research has examined plant nutrition such as Mediterranean diets and vegetarian diets. And those diets have a foundation of plant foods, focusing on fish, eggs, cheese, and yogurt. So within the vegetarian nutrition, it can help with heart disease, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, certain cancer, depressions. And then also it can decrease negative effects of mental and physical health functions. Vegetarian nutrition has also shown to support health by lowering high blood pressure and diabetes. Also, so that's the nutrition side of it, right? And also with like farms, animal groups have led like studies about how farms are not
Thank you,
sustainable
Angela. Your
and it
time's up.
depletes animal life.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to testify? Seeing none, our members, any questions? Okay, so no need to recess for decision-making. We can go ahead. On the first measure, SCR 29 and SR 19, urging the Department of Ag to support efforts to improve aquaculture, the chair's recommendation will be to pass as is. Any discussion? Chair votes aye. Senator Rhodes.
Chair's recommendation on SCR 29 and SR 19 is to pass as is. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Vice Chair is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes, and Senator Waugh is excused.
Thank you, members. Next is SCR 67 and SR 55, urging the legislature to preserve, protect, and restore Limukala. The chair's recommendation will be to pass as is. Any discussion? Chair votes aye.
Chair's recommendation on SCR 67 and SR 55 is to pass as is. Chair Gabbard votes aye. Vice Chair is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Waugh is excused. Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. And finally, SCR 101 and SR 83, urging a transition to a plant-based lifestyle. The chair's recommendation will be to pass as is. Any discussion? Chair votes aye.
Chair discussion. Chair, I'm going to be voting no on this reso. I believe it's a person's right to choose what they want to eat. And in regards to a plant-based lifestyle that aligns with traditional Hawaiian dietary practices, in the dietary practices also includes fish as well as pork. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, chair votes aye. Senator Rhodes.
Chair's recommendation on SCR 101 and SR 83 is to pass as is. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Vice Chair is excused. Senator Coit votes no. I'll vote yes, and Senator Waugh is excused. Recommendation is adopted.
Okay, measure passes. Thank you very much. And this